All right, good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's market color session. Please let me know if you can hear me. Kindly confirm. Can we all hear me? And can you confirm? I'm so sorry for that brief interruption. I had a little technical issue here, but I've resolved that. Okay, so since we can all hear me, let us quickly proceed into today's business. So today I'm going to be starting off with the XY. We're going to be looking at commodity currency pairs and also Euro USD because I have my eyes on Euro USD this morning as well. But first, let us see what the US dollar index is currently doing. So generally, I like to start off my analysis on the monthly time frame. I'm going to go ahead and delete all of this chart on my screen so that we can together make sense of what this market is doing so we can all collectively see what is happening, right? Perfect. So as at our last analysis, we had marked out this fair value gap right here where we expected price to, trade into somewhere around the zone, right? But price has now violated that zone and we know where it is headed for. Just below that is a fair value gap, another one right here, which then makes it an IOFED. So price is now traded into an IOFED that's even tapped into that level right now. So we should be seeing reactions from this zone, right? Price has now tapped into that level. I'm going to go ahead and adjust that. So from here to here, fair value gaps on both sides equal IOFED. On the weekly time frame as well, look at the speed. Throughout last week was a heavily bearish market for the DXY, but this week we expect reversals, right? This went with so much momentum, and every time market moves with so much momentum, it leaves an imbalance that should eventually get filled, either 50% or 100% of the entire thing. So now that I've seeing this, I'm expecting reactions. I'm expecting price to retrace, right? Go back into this zone first. Fill this gap you left with so much force before you then continue either to the downside or eventually start to form a new trend. So looking at the daily time frame now, you can see that price is now reacting off of a support level. This is where price currently is. So now that I have this view, where do I expect price to retrace into? I am seeing price retracing into this zone first. This was a previous support level that could become future resistance. So we now see this. This is now a point of interest for me. And if price is able to violate this zone, where is it headed next? Just above this level is an IOFED again. The price could then retrace into and continue the sell off of DXY. Right. So I'm also going to go ahead and mark out the fair value gaps on our charts. I'll go ahead and mark out the fair gaps on our chart. Please mute yourself if you are not muted so you do not cause a disturbance to the meeting, please. Thank you so much. God bless. So looking at the DX right now on the daily time frame, I'm marking out the fair value gaps. This is now fair value gap one, fair value gap two, and IONPB just above that zone. Right, so price should retrace into these zones and before you continue move downward. And if it does that, where is it most likely headed to? If it comes back to test into these liquidity levels, then the most likely area is going to trade into will now be this support level that is lying around here. There's a lot of liquidity that price could trade down below to come and clear, right? Perfect. So you can also decide to go down to the 4 hour time frame to try and fine tune our analysis, right? Go down to the 4 hour time frame. So yes, structure is clearly to the downside, heavily to the downside. And if you look to the right hand side of this chart, you see that there's an imbalance on the XY that has now been covered. Price has now traded into that zone, right? And it is now reacting off of it. So this is where price currently is. This level marked out here is where the imbalance is. I'm trying to go back into that place so you can see, okay, so price is even traded below it already. This was an imbalance, and price has now even covered everything, 100% of it. And yes, you can see that throughout last week the momentum to the downside was so strong, and then we now started to see all of these ranges. Price is now struggling. So when we've seen this, we expect price to give us something like this. And if you're able to violate this zone, you're going to trade in here and then continue the sell off of this asset class. All right. So now that we now have a clear view of what DXY is doing, let us go ahead and look at AUDUSD. Perfect. Okay, so looking at the monthly time frame of AUDUSD now, right? The only I don't look at this monthly time frame every time. Most times I just come here and draw liquidity zones so that I know where price will most likely retrace into. So I now have a recent swing that I'm going to go ahead and mark out from point A to point B, expecting price to retrace into a good enough spot, something the ICT traders call an OTE. So I'm expecting price to retrace into this zone, and then we will then continue the sell off of AUD USD. Okay, so yes, this is now my bias on AUD/USD weekly time frame. Structure is heavily to the downside. I'm expecting price to retrace back into the zone, and then we can continue to sell AU, right? Same thing on the daily time frame as well. You can see that price failed to take out this structure point, which could have been a new high. It just stayed here, right? So now that we're seeing this, we're expecting price to continue to settle from here. But if it doesn't, then we know that price is going to come here. Now, something I realized is that we could have cut this straight from here early on if we had done this analysis together yesterday, we all could have caught it because this was now our most recent swing on the daily time frame from point A to B. You always want to draw out your Fibonacci swings from where you see obvious pullbacks, right? So now that we saw this, this would have been a good enough zone to enter the sell, right? But we missed all of this now, and price is now here. So two questions. Are we willing to jump into this trade to, take advantage of the remaining moves downward? Or do we want to wait for price to come back into a good zone? Remember, you always want to sell high and you want to buy low. So we're not in a hurry to catch scraps. We could decide to wait for price to come back in here and then we will now continue the overall move. But is it possible that price will not return into the zone and just continue selling from here? It is very possible. But remember, you don't catch everything in the market. Be willing to let some go sometimes. But yes, because of the distance between where we could have entered and where price currently is, I may be willing to give it a shot provided it meets all my criteria, right? But if it doesn't, and that's why we have all of those little confirmation entries on the lower time frame before we go ahead and take decisions. If they are not fully met, I am not interested. But if they are, I'll be willing to take the sell off of AUD/USD from where it currently is downward. Until then, if it doesn't, we're looking at 0.66000 as our point of interest. So let's fine tune down to the 4 hour time frame and see if we can find anything. Something you want to do in situations where you miss out on trades is you want to look for fair value gaps, especially on the 15-minute time frame. That can now be your re-entry. But as you're re-entering, you also have to pay attention to your stop loss and your take profit so that you don't jump into a trade and your stop loss is somewhere about 100 pips and you're going in to catch 20 pips. So you can see that that risk management it doesn't really align, right? So now that we have this, price already did all of this move from our daily swing. We missed all of it. That's fine. And price has now retraced into this one. Let us look at the 1 hour time frame and see if this meets any entry criteria right at this point in time. So this could have been a sweet place to enter the sell-off back. From here, this we had this base formed. We had this base formed right around here and a continuation pattern right here. So this could have been a good spot to enter, provided our confirmation entry was met on the 5 minute time frame, right? But now that we've missed all of this move, we're going to be waiting for price to just return back into a good zone, and then we'll continue selling. So there's a fair value gap here, there's a fair value gap here. But let us even go on the 5 minute time frame to be sure a base was formed at this level, right? To be sure a base was formed at this level first. So do we see that it was any base formed around here to continue the sell-off? I see one here. So this is not the typical base pattern we want to see, but look at this. This was beautiful. So 1, 2, and 3. This was a base pattern and interstellar selling off. So we saw one entry one and another entry two. And price has now returned into what could have been our second entry. So are we willing to take a shot on AUD or do we want to wait? The stop loss, my stop loss will be somewhere above this high so that this can now be my protected high. How many pips would that be? Let's calculate. Remember I stated that you also want to put your stop loss in consideration before you take certain moves. So this will now be almost 50 pips SL. And where am I going to be looking to sell into? Let us go ahead and check that out. My first day profit would be around this zone. So how many pips from here to where my first day profit could be? About 50 pips. So this is looking like a 1:1 trade, right? Looking like a 1:1 trade. If you're comfortable enough to take this trade, you could go ahead and do that. But because of risk management, it is more advisable to stick to trades that give you the minimum of 1:2. All right, but on the higher perspective, on the higher time frame, my interest is still at that 0.6600 level. Go back to the daily time frame so you cannot see it. This is something I would enter with much more confidence, right? And continue the sell off of AUD USD. And looking at NZD USD, they are very similar. They are doing almost the same thing right now. Remember, they are cousins. So yes, on the monthly time frame, we expect price to retrace into the zone, continue selling. You can see it was already marked out, right? So on the weekly time frame now, what do we see? Same thing. It has even confirmed our trend. Our trend is to the downside. We have a support level that could become future resistance right around the zone. So this is now my point of interest on NZUSD weekly time frame. And from where price currently is to where I'm expecting price to retrace into, it's not so far. So I am willing to wait. I'm waiting for price to get in here. Okay, that's a lot actually, because this is NZUSD. So anything above 100 pips is quite a lot. So on the daily time frame now, you can see that structure failed to take out this point, right? Giving signs that the sell momentum wants to continue. But this is still my point of interest. I'm still going to be paying attention to this zone. Let price returning to this level, and then we want to see confirmation entries. What are they? You want to go down to the weekly time frame, or first of all the 4 hour time frame rather, and you want to see if price is giving you a sell structure. But you can see now that the most recent maybe we had on the 4 hour was a buy. So there are people who are comfortable to take the buy to sell, meaning that you want to start buying from where price currently is and you want to buy back into this zone before you start looking for sell opportunities. But those are usually considered not the best setup. You always want to trade along with the trend, though that gives you more confidence to take certain decisions. So if you are comfortable looking buying to sell back in, buying into the zone and then selling, good and fine. If not, please wait for price to get back into the zone, and then we will now go back to the 4 hour time frame to see if there is any relevant POS, even if it's just one structure point that is broken, and then our base pattern from the 1 hour time frame, our confirmation entry, and then we'll be taking that trade. Our students know what we're talking about. If you're not a student yet, that is fine. Just simply send us a message to 081 60 99 50 30, and we're going to guide you through and show you how we analyze these different asset classes. Perfect. So now that we have this in view, let's quickly look at USD CAD, shall we? What does USD CAD has in store for us today? What does USD CAD has in store? Please, if you have questions, Mr. Mangot stated you can hear me now, right? Just seeing your message. If you have questions, please feel free to type them in the chat box and I'll attend to all the questions after the analysis. So please type the questions you may have and I'll go through them. Are we together, Mr. Oviezino? So USD CAD monthly time frame. What do we see on the monthly time frame structure? Clearly to the upside. Where do we expect price to trade into? Going to go ahead and mark out my most recent swing, expecting price to retrace into this zone, right? So I'm expecting temporal sales on USD card, come back in here, same thing. This is now my zone, right? My point of interest on the monthly time frame. So we now have this, come back in here. Price already did the pin very close, right, to this zone, and then continue to buy. We continue to buy. Okay, so now that we see this, we go fine tune down to lower time frames and try to get even more clear analysis of what we see the chart doing. So because of how choppy this is, I'm going to go ahead and mark out this entire move from here all the way to this one as my swing. And you see where price is. So price should come back in here to be in sync with our monthly time frame. We test this zone and then we'll continue to buy. This level didn't really hold, to be honest, because price did not tap it. It just thought it was stuck between 38 and 50% fib level. So if it comes back here, we'll now be looking for opportunities to buy USD card, right? Perfect. So on the 4-hour time frame now, what do we see? What do we see on the 4-hour time frame? You can see that it's not so clear, but we still have a swing that we can go ahead and mark out. I like to pay attention to the most recent swing targeting the next liquidity levels. So this is now a price has already moved. So we already missed this premium entry from here. Price is now already moving already. So where is the next level that USD card could be trading into? Is there a support level right in front of it that could stop USD card to get a retracement or reversal? This could serve as a support level, right? That price could buy back into this zone, find support. But if it happens to break, then we're seeing price trading all the way into this minus 50% Fibonacci level. Okay, so I decided to quickly look at forex performance to see if we have a clear economic theme today. And you can see that on the weekly time frame, it looks like strength is going into yen, and our community currency pairs are being dumped, right? And this is usually a strategy that investors take when they are not willing to take risks. They move into this, right, and they dump rather the community currency pairs and they move into safe haven assets, right? So if they are not willing to be so risky in the market, they take their money out of these asset classes and they move them into safer currencies. Looking at the daily time frame now, right? Same thing that we have on the weekly, we have on the daily. But for here, we see that our financing currency seems to be leading. Euro is leading. Why? This could be because it's a strategy basically where investors borrow money. They borrow money from currencies that have low interest rates to invest in higher yielding currencies. So this could be strengthened in the meantime, and then over time we then see the GPYs and the CHF and the USD begin to gain back strength. On the daily, USD seems to be very weak, and that's understandable because of all of the inconsistencies and policies that are coming out. In fact, I always say that this is a season where fundamentals will be doing more in the charts than our fair value gaps and our other blocks and our swings. So this is the time for you to sit down and try to understand fundamentals properly. Thankfully, we teach fundamentals at the VFT Academy as well. So if that is something that is of interest to you, by all means, reach out to us and we are going to guide you through. Now, there's something that this FinViz also helps with. When you come on the FinViz and you see the strongest and the weakest, you can decide to pair the strongest versus the weakest. So in this case, you could be looking at sell opportunities on say AUD JPY. So you could be selling AUD and buying the yen, right? Or you could look for an asset class, card and JPY, pair them up. That helps you to be able to fully catch what is going on. In this case, we have euro. Euro is the strongest, USD is the weakest. So do you want to buy euro USD, right? As long as it tallies with your technical analysis and you see entries, that is something you can fully take advantage of. But yes, that is pretty much what I am looking out for today. I hope this has been helpful. If it has, please leave an emoji in the chat box so that I know that this helped at least one person before we call it a day and reconvene at 2 p.m. Good morning, Mr. Shea. Good to have you here, sir. Right. So this is a season rather where fundamentals will play a huge role. So understand fundamentals. You could have done all your technical analysis and then just one news will just come and turn everything upside down. All right. So thank you so much for joining. Let me know if you have questions, please, before we call it a wrap for this session. I see we have Mr. Joseph, Mr. Dominion, Oluwatosin, Oladipo, Ayuba, Adi, Mangot. Was this helpful to someone? All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining. We are going to reconvene at 2 p.m. For now, this is pretty much it. See you by 2. Please tell someone to join these sessions at the VFT Academy. They are totally free and open to everyone interested in financial markets. With that being said, do have an amazing day. I see there are no questions, so I'm sure it was clear to everyone. Cheers and God bless. Bye, everyone.
Good morning and welcome back to the market color for today, the 11th of March 2025. We're continuing with today's market color as to take a quick look also at Euro USD, gold against the dollar, and then GBP USD. Starting off with Euro USD, then we'll proceed to GBP, and then finally we'll end today's market color session with the analysis on gold against the dollar. Now, starting off with Euro USD, you can all see clearly that the dollar is not looking to relent anytime soon from its upward push. All right, so you can see the rally is looking to have continued this morning. We already marked this level as one of our potential points of interest for the dollar, but currently we're seeing that we may see continuation and see price even piercing further to the upside on the dollar index. So we're looking at somewhere around here as a potential point for the dollar index to trade into. Okay, so this is one of the levels that we're looking at out for. When the dollar trades into this new level, we might see the reversal we're waiting for. But I'm suspecting this is long enough for an expansion. So we are looking to see, are we going to get any retracement from this level to the downside? If that happens, good and fine, will be much expected, and then we're going to trade it in that direction. But if that doesn't happen, then we would be looking out for another point of interest above, just like the one I've highlighted here. Okay, so let's look at the lower time frame to see what is actually playing out. Now, on the 4-hour time frame, price still looks to be creating more expansions to the upside. Same thing on the 1-hour time frame. We've seen that the range we had sometime yesterday has been broken. We had this range price falling around this level right here, and we've seen that that range has been broken. But then one thing that is catching my interest in this move to the upside is that this could just be a consolidation, and this is going to be a manipulation before a sell. So I'll be looking out for Euro USD in that light, because usually when we have a consolidation like this, we usually see a manipulation move to the upside, and then price would finally start trading to the downside as we expected. So this could be a play in the market. You could see this play out in the market. So if this is what's going to happen, then I would wait for it to make this move and start breaking structure back to the downside. Then I'll take myself. But if that's not the case, then we would keep seeing Euro USD trading all the way to the upside. So my bias currently on Euro USD is for a buy. But if I'm stopped out, I'll switch it for a sell because of this move that we're seeing right here. Okay, so the bias for Euro USD this morning is clearly a buy. But then if this move turns out to be true, I mean, this manipulation, the consolidation manipulation, and then the redistribution, if it turns out to be true, then we'll switch our bias for a sell. So rounding off Euro USD analysis as a buy bias for the day. Now, if you look at GBP USD on the other hand, you see that GBP USD is not buying as much as Euro USD is. And that is sending us a signal because we are looking at similar thing, similar price movement, similar sentiment on the dollar from both GBP and from USD. However, like we stated yesterday, I think I and Lakon stated the same thing yesterday. We said we're looking out for the GBP USD shorts this week. We're looking forward to weakness on the GBP this week, obvious for sentimental reasons. So for GBP USD, trading off this other block would be the goal for GBP USD. So this other block has not been tested, price has traded into it. We're expecting to see GBP USD trade off this other block to the downside, and on the 4-hour time frame, we saw how that almost played out yesterday, where we're looking to see this break of structure happen, but it didn't happen quite clearly on the 4-hour time frame. We're looking to see GBP USD sell all the way to this level right here. Okay. This moment. We're looking to see GBP USD sell all the way here, at least for the first round of sell, and then second round of sell all the way here. If it breaks the first one, we'll be looking forward to the second one all the way here. So GBP USD didn't do quite as much as we expected it to do in terms of the move to the downside. There was no clear break or structure. Instead, it came to form a liquidity point. So it just grabbed stop loss around here and then started trading back upward. So I'm suspecting that GBP USD is going to sell, just like we have that suspicion on Euro USD. However, if you're looking at it from structure alone, GBP USD is still a buy structure, but we're expecting to see that buy structure end because we've started seeing weakness already. This consolidation is a sign of weakness in the trend. We're not seeing so much momentum. We're not seeing so much trend in GBP USD pushing to the upside. So that rally may be coming to an end, and we'll be seeing GBP USD selling further below. So that is my expectation for GBP USD today. And looking at what we expect to grab from today's market, I'm suspecting a GBP USD sell from let's just show 15 minutes time frame, so I'll show you. So I'm suspecting a GBP USD sell when price retraces all the way here. Okay, the price retraces all the way here again. I'm looking forward to selling GBP USD to the downside from here. So back to the 1 hour. So somewhere around here, I'm expecting a GBP USD sell, and we'll be selling all the way to this level. Okay, but if that doesn't play out, if we're not seeing our sell structures form, we'll just wait and allow the buys to take one more rally, which I suspect may not happen, and then we'll sell. But then my bias for GBP USD is a sell. Okay, yeah, and you might be wondering why is my bias for Euro USD a buy and bias for GBP USD a sell. So there's a contingency for Euro USD's buy, and the buy is if and only if we keep seeing buy structures, we'll keep buying. However, we're expecting a manipulation to play out, which is the buy move, and then a sell trend is going to now commence after the last buy push to the upside, or the buy expansion. Okay, so I'm still expecting a sell on Euro USD. I'm expecting a sell on GBP USD. However, if we do not see sell structures forming clearly, we just keep buying. Okay, remember, we trade what we are seeing in the market, not just what we expect to see alone. So what we are seeing in the market currently is showing us for a buy. So we'll be taking buys, but then we'll have an eye out for a sell. Once that sell starts playing out, we'll take it and we'll ride it all the way to the downside. And then finally, on gold, now we're seeing that gold has retraced so much right from here. Okay, so after this retracement, I'm still very big on seeing gold touch 3,000 price points somewhere around this first quarter. Okay, and for that to happen, definitely gold has to buy. We're seeing some signs that the buy momentum could be resuming for gold, right? So we're seeing that the buy momentum may be resuming for gold, and there are lots and lots of liquidity around here. Seeing that gold is a little discounted from this last move to the upside, we are expecting further buys on gold. So for me today, my bias on gold is a buy. So I'm trading gold independent of what's happening on Euro USD and GBP USD, except when we want to see gold give us a deeper retracement. So I'm looking at this level. Okay. So I'm looking at seeing gold maybe trade one more time to this level right here. Okay, so this could play out on gold. And the reason for this is that if you look at the 1 hour structure carefully, you see that we're already in a sell trend on the 1 hour structure. The last buy trends has been, the last buy structures has been taken out on gold. So looking at what we're having on the 1 hour structure, or based on our lower time frames, we're expecting that sell-off on gold to continue. All right, even though the higher time frame is having clear buy bias, but then we might need to see gold give us a heavy discount all the way here before finally buying. Okay, so for gold, I'm expecting this kind of push and then buy back here. And then during that move to the downside, to grab the remaining liquidities that are left to be grabbed, which is right here. Okay, so this is what I'm expecting to play out on gold. So I'm expecting this move to the downside and then one more push. Now, if you look at gold carefully, you see that it has traded into this other block right here. Okay, but this other block, I suspect, may engineer a sell move to the downside. So you can be looking out for minor structure shift on the lower time frame. And I'm using the 15 minutes time frame for my own case. I would want to see gold break here. Once it brings this structure to the downside, I'll be going all out for a sell. Okay, so for gold, I'm waiting to see it break here. Once it breaks this structure, I'll be selling gold all the way to 2850. Okay, 2850 price point. That's where I'll be taking a gold sell. 2855, I mean. Okay, so once it breaks here and then gives a brief retest, I'll be selling gold all the way to this level. All right, so my bias for gold is a clear sell, even though the higher time frame is for a buy. So when we sell all the way here, once you see the resumption on the buy, we'll be willing to take that buy to the upside. And then for GBP USD, I'm expecting a sell after a break of this structure here. I'm expecting the sell all the way down here. Well, unless it does that break, we'll just be taking our buys to the upside. Same thing for Euro USD. Well, in the case of Euro USD, I'm suspecting a power of three action taking place where we have the consolidation. We've seen something that looks like the manipulation. We're waiting to see break or structure to show us a distribution back to the downside, and then we'll sell USD. If it doesn't do that, then it means that the buy trend is going to continue and we'll keep taking the buys to the upside. Okay, so that is all for Euro USD, for gold, and for GBP USD. So if you have any question, please feel free to ask your questions as we wrap up today's market call. Okay, so we'll be coming back by 2 p.m. GMT plus 1 to finish off today's market call, where we'll be having a quick recap on what we've analyzed this morning and seeing how they played out and how we've taken advantage or how we can take advantage of it. And then, as usual, if you want to learn the methods that we use to analyze this market, our entry signatures, how we manage the trades, our trading psychology, and you want to be able to apply that to various markets that you have interest in, do well to sign up for the FX Bootcamp course where we're going to teach you all this and then make sure that you come out as a wholesale trader just like we are. All right. So until we meet again by 2 p.m. GMT plus 1, wish you good luck and good trading. Cheers and God bless, guys.